In this video, I'm going to teach you how to prepare yourself well to do real deep work. Work that you dive into, where you find flow, you tackle hard things, and you do them well. Most people know they can do deep work, that they can use the superpower of their massively connected brain and their unique experiences and learning to create value that only they can bring. But many people find themselves unable to do this week after week. There are a number of important techniques that you can use to create the space for yourself to do deep work. And as mentioned in his book, there are actually 4 different strategies of when to do deep work. These include the rhythmic method of creating a rhythm for yourself to do deep work each day, the journalistic method of finding ways to do deep work between events, the monastic method of creating large chunks of time where you can just work on deep work stuff, and the bimodal method. With all that I'm working on, I use the rhythmic method to carve out times each day to do some deep work that can move each of my projects forward. 3 techniques that I use to create the space for me to do deep work each day include time blocking and being intentional with my time, communication expectations and creating channels so that important things that need to interrupt me can, but otherwise I can ignore all notifications, and 3, mental contrasting with implementation intentions, using the WHIP method to allow myself to visualize myself succeeding and yet overcoming the barriers that are necessary to do it. These are essential if you're going to build up the ability to do really complicated tasks during your deep work session. These are very powerful techniques. So I was surprised that recently I found 2 new techniques that really helped me to boost my deep work productivity. You'll find that these are 2 very simple techniques, but practicing them consistently can be difficult for most people. And if you're able to do it though, I think you'll find that you're able to 1, get into deep work much more easily, and you're far more successful during your deep work blocks. Both of them are about preparing well for deep work. I do most of my deep work blocks in the morning when I feel freshest. The first technique is to prepare yourself to do deep work the day before. Sounds obvious, right? But I know from my own experience and from my coaching that most people don't do it. And since they don't do it, they have to start their deep work session by diving into some very distracting technology, usually email or the web. Don't do it. Spend 5 minutes in your shutdown ritual to prepare any materials that you might need during your deep work session tomorrow. I collect things either in a folder on my desktop or collect the materials that I'll need and put it right on the top of my desk. And if you can get started, that is, open a document or slides or a mind map or a user story map or something that's actually going to be the output of it, you'll find that you'll be able to much more easily just go for it when you come in the next day. It takes less time than you think, and the benefits are impressive. You'll be able to start off your deep work block with just the elements that you need. Yes, complicated as they are, without having to open up your email or other things that could distract you or lead you away from your important task. Your chances of being derailed by something that could suck away your time or your attention, even derail your entire block, as often happens for many people, are now much lower. The second technique is also obvious, but also very powerful. And again, most people don't use it. If you're able to master both of these techniques, you'll likely be in the top 1% of people who are striving to do deep work. The second technique is to mentally prepare yourself prior to your deep work session. We know from research with high-performance athletes that visualization before an activity can help to improve performance during that activity. And you want to do deep work at an elite level, so prepare for it. Visualize yourself starting your deep work session, relaxed, confident in your ability to tackle this, and looking forward to using this emerging strength in being able to do really great deep work. See yourself quickly getting settled, becoming focused, and tackling the work. If you can do this and believe yourself, then you're in a really good place. Relax on your way there and let your mind rest. We know from neuroscience that this massively connected prefrontal cortex needs a little bit of rest in order to do some of the integrating superpowers that it has available to it. If you're distracted all the time on the way in, you won't get this boost as you start your deep work session. If, as you're visualizing this, you don't feel quite certain of how you're going to do it or what you're going to do, that's really important information. Try to see if you can think through some of those problems. Get settled in what exactly it is that you're going to be tackling and why. Doing this preparation beforehand can be really helpful, because the truth is, you'd likely be second-guessing yourself as you sat down anyway, and it would be derailing your ability to get right into deep work. Sometimes it's a signal that you need to take the initial time to actually sit back and replan and rethink based on the new information that you've been thinking about overnight, or that you've learned, or that you're concerned about. When that happens to me, then I take at least 10 or 25 minutes to just clear my mind, get everything down in front of me, and then use that to replan and reprioritize what it is that I'm going to focus my deep work session on. Without it, you can have this background process that's going to be interrupting you and going to be distracting you during your deep work session, and you're not going to be able to accomplish as much as you want. Some of the common blockers for people is having to retrain their mind a little bit in order to help them get into deep work and focus much more quickly. Some common blockers that I've seen are that people can have very distracting settling in routines. These routines can include grabbing your cup of coffee or a cup of tea and then quickly checking in on email, quickly checking in on Slack, or browsing the news. These are really distracting technologies, and we know from neuroscience that not only is there the switching cost as you try to turn it off and browse over to getting into your focus area, but they're also actually far more disruptive than you understand or appreciate, because the filtering ability inside our brains that focus all the extraneous information not related to the problem that we're solving has now been derailed by all of this other distracting information grabbing signals for you. So if this is the case for you, I'd highly recommend that you consider delaying that ritual until later in the morning and just trying to start with a clear, calm, very focused approach and just diving into deep work. For some people, it's going to be really hard to change these ingrained habits and patterns unless we're going to try the 1% a day. Just try it for today. See how it feels. I think very quickly you'll realize the benefits of this approach, both for your mental health, sanity, calmness, as well as the impact it'll have on your ability to do great, deep, productive work. And for everybody, me included, it's hard to do this consistently, so just keep at it. Keep at beginning again. If you're like me, I think you'll see results pretty quickly, and you'll feel and appreciate how much stronger your deep work has become. And once you start to experience these results, it's going to become easier and easier for you to do this consistently. So the key takeaway from this video is that there are two simple techniques that most people don't use that can really strengthen your ability to do deep work and help you to perform intellectually at an elite level. And these techniques are, first, to prepare everything you think you'll need the day before. And second, to mentally prepare yourself by visualizing all that you'll need to start your deep work session relaxed, confident, and ready to find flow. A summary of this content is available on our blog for free, so feel free to check it out and subscribe to the newsletter if you want to be kept informed of updates. I hope this really helps you to find flow. Good luck.